Yeah, my thing was it was all messing up. I'm not sure. It might happen again. If it does, just get ready.
Yep, yep.
It's the Cleveland Indians.
I know. I was just going along with it, trying to string it along.
I don't even know what you said because it completely cut out right when you were starting to talk about it, and then I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, we can bring it back up. We got 5 seconds. Here we go.
Nine Queen Pillow Top sale on now.
welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. We enjoy having each and every one of you. If we ever have issues on our video display, it's always good to have our audio ready to go. KMET 1490 AM. It's on social media. All you have to do is put it on your Android phone or your iPhone. And as of late, I've actually checked out some other people with their latest iPhone. I have to say it's a beautiful, gorgeous design. So I'm thinking about maybe switching up my Android because my Android's been draining the battery like crazy, and I hate it when that happens. So hopefully it will fix itself. Maybe I have too many apps running. Jesse, what you remember when you have an Android? What do you do to conserve battery?
I make sure there are no programs running, so flick everything off, and yeah, I guess that just you got to learn how to minimize your apps and stuff because some of them run in the background and they do drain a lot of power.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that because I do not know what's running. Except like I was drained for probably a day and a half. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't load anything really big. So I'm going to just get rid of all that stuff. And there you go. And if you have a computer, be careful of the new update. There's always updates. I was like, do I want to update it? Do I want to restart it? I don't know. I'll do it over the weekend. So there you go. All right. Some interesting news. Cleveland Indians. Yeah. Since 1915. Can you believe this, Jesse? It's one of those things where, like, you go, wow, things really change, right? The ball club announced the name change Friday with a video on Twitter narrated by actor Tom Hanks, ending months of internal discussions by a national reckoning by institutions and teams to drop logos and names considered racist. Now, I will say this. You know, I think they could have easily just made it, like, work using a pretty good, like, you know, I think it started with maybe, well, I really don't know. Like, you know, like the Redskins.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, like that situation with football, you know, kind of people have questions about that. So they completely changed it, which I'm not sure that that's a way to go about it, in my opinion, right?
You-
Like,
I think it's a great idea personally because first of all, they're not Indians.
well, okay, I'll give you that one, but I kind of mean like there's different mascots for different things, like the Bulldogs, right? Like, you know, like the Miami Dolphins. You know, there's a nod, I guess, like the Diamondbacks, right? You know, like I guess my point is, you know, Dodgers. Where how did the name of Dodgers come about? You know, there's always an interesting way to
Yeah.
go about it, and a good nod that you can give to some. But you know what? You're right. I mean, there's certain things that sometimes we don't take in consideration that actually is the way it is. So you know, maybe I got it wrong. But you could check it out. You can still follow them at Cleveland at Indians on.
Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. I mean, personally, I think it's weird to have, especially if you remember the big giant logo, a Native American face,
Yeah.
and just calling them Indians and stuff. I just think it's wrong, but that's just me. So
Yeah. Well, and I have friends that are native, where these type of conversations really kind of aren't that big of a deal. So I would sometimes wonder who like makes now I do know when it is a big deal. Um, you know, when it like hits a sore spot, and of course it did in this way. So the question of the day is, what will Cleveland be called in? Like, you know, as far as in baseball, what will be the name to name them, Jesse?
ooh, it would probably take me a while to think up a name, but luckily Stephanie Reed there already told me the name, so I actually enjoy this name. I wonder what the logo will be though.
What's the name there?
The Cleveland Guardians.
The Guardians. Okay, well, all right. I guess I'll go with the Guardians. Although I think the Guardians of the Universe will take issue with that. I mean, right? But
Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, so what do you do, right? So, okay, let's take a quick little break here on the morning show. We'll be back. Everything will be streaming good for us. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Who is the Atua Man? Can you imagine exploring spiritual consciousness through an exotic action-adventure story? The Atua Man is masterfully illuminated in this self-discovery novel by John Stevenson. Dive into the page-turning epic hero's journey, weaving together high action with spiritual revelation. Join the Atua Man and his colorful cohorts as they travel through the majestic Hawaii, the hidden mysteries of Polynesia, and the intrigue, starting with the mysterious healing that breeds chaos in London. This journey guides us through the trials of living in the material world, arriving into enlightened consciousness, perhaps glimpse into the fabric of creation. How is the Atua Man affected by the global healing ministry surrounding him? How does he navigate the complexities of love, forgiveness, life and death, wealth and power? Find out in John Stevenson's TheAtuaMan.com, Apple Books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
KMET welcomes Ron Siegel of Geneva Financial with advice and suggestions for consumers with the hows and whys of our incredible real estate market. Now, here's the market in a minute with Ron Siegel.
Ron Siegel here. June housing starts rose more than expected, despite expensive lumber and shortages of land and labor constraining builders' ability to meet robust demand. The median price of a newly built home was up 18% in May from a year ago. Prices for existing homes are also up. In June, median prices hit an all-time high of $363,300. Stocks suffered losses while bonds improved to start the week, helping drive mortgage rates lower. The moves were blamed largely on global economic recovery concerns. Today, Freddie Mac mortgage rates are down to 2.78 on a 30-year fixed and 2.12 on a 15-year fixed. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, and remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
This Market in a Minute has been brought to you by Geneva Financial. For an up-to-date market report, text Market Minute to 79564. That's Market Minute to 79564.
Summer in the Inland Empire. You know what that means. Sunny days and hot temperatures that make you want to stay inside. Franklin Mechanical Systems can repair or replace your air conditioning unit to get it working cool before the heat hits. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems for all your residential and commercial air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000 and get cool today.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you for spending time with us. Some of the states are now account for 40% of the new coronavirus cases in the U.S. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there who likes trivia. Which states do you think are among the worst here in the United States of America? Jesse?
Let's see. I'm guessing New York, California, and Florida.
Oh, why Florida, though? That's an interesting one.
I don't know. Florida's always the problem child of the U.S., but I don't know.
But because you were there, right? So, like, were there people not wearing? Were they kind of?
Oh no, there were no masks wearing there.
Yeah, see, they were completely oblivious, and that's exactly the situation. Except California is not among the top three. According to this, 40% of all new cases this week have been recorded in Florida, Texas, and Missouri. According to Jeff Zients, who's revealed at a press briefing Thursday, Florida accounts for 20% of all new cases nationally. Zients pointed out a trend that has stretched into its second week Zients added that virtually all hospitalizations and deaths, a full 97%, are among those people. The threat is now predominantly only to those, he says. A few vaccinated people do experience so-called breakthrough infections, but they intend to experience only mild COVID-19 illness or no illness at all. There's current maps that they're starting to look at that are looking nationwide. So, encouragingly, though, he said that the 5 states that have experienced the most encouragingly, I see. Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida, Nevada, and Missouri beat the national average for a second week in a row in vaccination rates. But because immunity takes 2 weeks to develop, the Delta variant spreads so rapidly. I really don't know why they keep talking about it like this, because the Delta variant is a completely different variant than the other. So it's completely different symptoms. One is like a flu-like symptom. The other is cold-like symptoms. And I feel some people have the wrong information, including some friends of mine that just, I go, you're not using your mind on this, because the Delta variant sprung up as of November and December of last year. The vaccines that they had been testing were of the earlier part of the beginning of last year. So the Delta variant is getting people sick, even those with the previous vaccination rate, right? So so a lot of bad information is still out there. And I say, be ahead of it, in that, stay safe. If you have a vaccination, great job. But be prepared for another one probably to come up in September and October. Probably a few, actually, because everybody's trying to get ahead of this really bad Delta variant. The Delta variant is the one that Jesse brought up, but it was called at the time, which I think is still important to know, from India, right? Or in India, not that like it was created in a lab in India, it just mutated in India and then spread like wildfire at a time that the government there in India in January, February says, oh, we're over it. And then it sprung up in February, March, and April really bad, because they, were kind of thinking, okay, which is the kind of case that we entered in June and July. So at least we have that bit of information from India and those that have been working hard behind the scenes to try to limit it. And that's the good news for us here on the home front, right? But according to this, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas said he will not impose new mask mandates. Both he and DeSantis have signed measures striking down requirements that people produce proof of vaccination. As the pandemic has surged back in parts of the country, other Republicans have deviated from that approach. The governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson, is rumored to have presidential ambitions of his own, has pushed for more vaccinations in his state. A member of Republican leadership in the House of Representatives and a Trump ally rolled up his sleeve last Sunday and was vaccinated. Scalise represents a district in Louisiana, another state with a low rate of vaccination that's experiencing a surge in new cases. There were 46,318 new cases of coronavirus reported nationwide on Tuesday. That's according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky. That's a marked increase from the lows of late May and early June. Hospitalizations and deaths are rising. So there you go. But look, the Delta variant is one that is completely different than the others. And I think at least, our friends on social media pretty much understand that, right, Jesse? I don't think anybody here is not educated on that. And I'm always surprised when I do see situations where I go, wait, you're not paying attention to the obviousness of it all, right? When these things spring up, like if there was a new one that sprung up and it was really bad, again, it takes a while for you to be able to overcome that one. That's the problem with it, with the new variant. So there you go. Okay, in other news, black eyes. No, wait, what's it called? Snake eyes. Snake eyes, which he gives black eyes to people.
I was about to say, oh my God, please don't let it be another virus that gives us black eyes. Oh my God.
No, God, no.
I don't need that.
I'm sorry. Snake eyes give black eyes. G.I. Joe Origins comes out today. I say go have fun with that. That looks like fun. Lots of good stuff there. We have to take a little bit of a break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
When it comes to health and well-being, cellular hydration is the key. You could say that hydration is the key to every wellness program. And structured water, water in its natural state, is the key to cellular hydration. Most of the water available to us has been processed for purity, safety, and convenience. But processing causes water to lose its natural hexagonal structure, with unfortunate effects for our bodies. Now you can take your personal hydration to a whole new level with the glassware that restructures water in just 3 minutes. Golden Ratio Products brings you these amazing water bottles, carafes, and drinking glasses which put the life back into the water you drink. Try it and you'll be amazed at the effects you feel in your body. Go to goldenratioproducts.com for the next phase of your water consciousness.
Don't let insurance companies make decisions for you. Go to Pass Auto Center in Banning, your one-stop repair facility with full collision repair, auto maintenance, service, and an authorized smog center. You'll also find a full-service used car lot to fit every budget with the right vehicle for you. Trade-ins are accepted and they pay cash for your car. Pass Auto Center at 2609 West Ramsey in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway between Sunset and 22nd. Call 951-849-7878. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff and spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500, or go online at hiebanning.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining each and every one of you. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And whatever you do this weekend, have fun at it. And then, of course, just be careful. Some LA restaurants are temporarily closing. I just am seeing this right now. Amid the COVID-19 spike, and this is new news, actually. I didn't see this one coming. The Village Idiot, which is in the Fairfax district, reopened Thursday after being closed for the last few days due to a vaccinated staff member testing positive for COVID-19. They said, "We apologize for the inconvenience, but unfortunately we've had a breakthrough case of COVID-19 with one of our fully vaccinated staff members." You see? Told you. At least they're admitting it. We'll be closed for the next few days until all of our employees are tested. That's according to the restaurant. They said it in an Instagram post on Monday. Bottega Louie in West Hollywood closed their doors. The restaurant said in an Instagram post, "Out of an abundance of caution for the health and safety of our guests and staff, we have decided to close Bottega Louie," which is in West Hollywood, for a few days due to increasing COVID cases. LA County is seeing the highest daily case. The county health department reported 2,767 new cases on Thursday, which is up 80% in just 1 week and 20 times as high. If the state was still using the system of the color-coded system, LA would have fallen back into the purple tier, resulting in the closures of businesses and limiting of capacity of others. But that's why doctors are continuing to urge people to get, if needed, again, to stay safe. And for those that are at high risk, again, and even low risk, the vaccination there. So LA County reinstated the face covering mandate for indoor public spaces, regardless of if you're vaccinated or not. Some LA bars are demanding vaccination proof for entry. Health officials have attributed the spike to the presence of the more infectious Delta variant and the intermingling of unmasked individuals. And so there you go. So that's some interesting news, especially if you visit LA and you go, how come I cannot have some fun? I always say the restaurants that stay outside or have outside areas. I recently went to Venice and had some good food on the outside, and they have it all set up on the outside. And you still wear your face mask, and then when you got to eat, of course, you do so outside. Outside eating, in my opinion, is much better than inside, where, of course, you've got creepy, crawly bacterias anywhere. Just go into any restroom, and you got creepy, crawly bacteria anywhere, right, Jesse? So I know you don't want to think about it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I still see people walking outside without washing their hands. I'm like, dude, you just never mind. I don't know. You touch stuff in there, so I wash your freaking hands.
Yeah, it's just a thing. So I mean, should it be a thing? I don't know, but there you go. All right. Lots of questions. Tokyo Olympics, right? I know my mom was talking about this, and I'm like, yup, the Olympics have begun, and it's a fun time. Fun time to see Olympics. A lot of questions though.
Are you excited for the Olympics?
Well, I'm excited always to see pretty cool like stuff being broken. I don't know that I'll sit there watching it every day.
Okay. I actually I found a story. I started laughing because this guy.
Go for it.
He's the greatest of all times. Okay, so this guy, he wants to date an Olympian. So, how do you do that?
You post on social media and buy her flowers.
That's true. So this guy, he signed up for Tinder Plus.
Okay.
Okay. So with Tinder Plus, you're allowed to able to change your location. So what this guy did was he changed his location to the Olympic Village in Tokyo and started swiping. So unfortunately, he posted it on TikTok, so a lot of people are following suit. So it's just flooded with people trying to bag themselves an Olympian. But he eventually replies on his TikTok or something like that, where the Tinder account actually replied, "You're not in the Olympics, but you're winning the game." And then his reply was, "Can you please kick out everyone else who passported to the Olympic Village? They're messing up my plan." So that video garnered a lot of views, but an Olympian actually did a little winky face to him on his video, which was Katarine Savard. Is a Canadian swimmer. So hey, he got the eyes of an Olympian, so it worked. So all I have to say is good job for him. I wasn't even aware you can change your location.
Yeah, well, and you can. I used to check out Tinder way back in the day. Not gonna lie, single days you kind of check out stuff. I had a friend who says, get a Tinder account. I'm like, all right, let me check this out. And it's weird when people like message you, but they jump all over the place, and it says, because you're like, wait, are you in? And they're like, no, I'm in Florida. You're like, then why does it show you as local? But it makes no sense because in my opinion, it's a waste of time. I mean, I could be wrong. Like some people like long distance relationships.
That is true.
If you got the money to travel, I say yay. I have dated long distance, but from Tokyo to like the U.S. is kind of like, do you plan to move here or do I move there? Like, you know what I mean? So it's virtual dating is only so good until you go, wait, what? How are you spending your day and who are you spending it with, right? So you never know. I like to see people up close and personal, but you know what I say? I say good job for thinking outside the box. Like if somebody wants to date a Olympian,
right?
Yeah.
So all I can say is, we'll find out. See if it works for him.
Yeah. 100 U.S. athletes are unvaccinated as the Olympics begin. Tokyo new virus cases are about 2,000 a day. That's the sad news there, which makes sense why they said no viewers for. And I think that's the hard part, right? When you watch these things and then they have, at least they don't have it to where remember I think it was the Super Bowl where you had to like pay like $100 or $120 just to get your face on a cardboard.
I remember, yeah, they filled the stands with cardboard cutouts of people.
Yeah, and you had to pay for that. That made no sense to me, but whatever. But here's some good news. The Olympic flame is first powered by hydrogen. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. Inspired by the sun, the Tokyo Olympic cauldron is designed to be better for the planet. The flame at Tokyo's National Stadium and other cauldron burning along the waterfront near Tokyo Bay will be sustained in part by hydrogen, the first time the fuel source will be used to power an Olympic fire. Previous flames have run on propane, although magnesium, gunpowder, resin, and olive oil have been used since the first modern cauldron was lit for the Amsterdam Games in 1928. The torch relay was introduced 8 years later for Berlin. Unlike propane, hydrogen does not produce carbon dioxide when combusted. The Tokyo Cauldron is fueled by hydrogen, produced by a factory in Fukushima Prefecture that runs on renewable energy. Propane and hydrogen were used during the torch relay. Organizers for the London Games in 2012 touted plans for a low-carbon torch, but couldn't get the design right in time. They used a mix of propane and butane. Brazilian officials commissioned a smaller cauldron for Rio in 2016 to reduce the amount of fuel needed, but the Tokyo Cauldron was designed by the Canadian architect Okisato. His sun-inspired orb unfolds like petals from a flower, which organizers say embody vitality and hope. Tennis player Naomi Osaka lit the torch at 11:48 p.m. with performers from throughout the night ceremony holding sunflowers, famous for blooming toward the sun. And I will say, if you haven't had a chance to see any of this, YouTube is always a good place to go, or Facebook Live that has, there's just something about all of the Olympians that kind of come in at the very beginning and they have their big, event. And it's just really so magnificent to still see, a world situation kind of descend on one portion of the planet, right? Like the best Olympians. But during the coronavirus, I gotta wonder what kind of like stain that puts on each and every one to go like, wait, you didn't see my performance, because other people are just kind of like the Oscars. I think that was the lowest viewed Oscars ever, right?
Probably most likely. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of watching certain award shows.
Yeah.
It's just they're boring. It's just like, why do I care if this actor or celebrity gets an award? But I guess people are into it. I don't know. Not me, but whatever.
Yeah, I am sometimes. I like watching it with other people, but there you go. This headline's an interesting one. Some people making $100,000 or more say the financial success has shifted, and I say,
doing what?
Yeah, I know. We'll hold on. First of all, I think it's funny when people go, wait, I was making $100,000 or more, but I'm not doing well right now. According to this, some call them Henrys, short for high earners, not rich yet. They're young, successful, and making good money. In their 20s and 30s, young people have been making more than $100,000 a year. I do say this. Follow the younger ones and what they're doing, like what they've been doing with social media and other stuff. It's usually virtually. But according to this, the median household income in the U.S. is about $70,000 a year, according to 2019 census data. Although some people might believe Henrys are living the American dream, experts say their six-figure salary might not go so far when factoring in student debt, rent, and personal spending. It's because they live literally paycheck to paycheck. A recent study revealed 70% of millennials are living in that situation, a larger share than any other generation. 33% of millennials live paycheck to paycheck and struggle to pay their bills. So they're still making $100,000, but their spending habits are not good at saving, right? They're like, oh man, and it makes sense where you're young, right? You're in your 20s, 30s, and you're like, what am I not gonna buy, right? Which is good for other businesses, right? Give me your money, but at the same time, very bad for budgeting. So when that money kind of starts to dry up, what do, right? So there are some smart millennials that I've met which, invest in like a home or in, their own place. But I'm not going to lie. I was probably the dumbest 20 to 30-year-old as well, as far as saving was. My wife at the time was the smarter one of the two of us. And we went to go get our debt kind of like consolidated and then, pay that down over time, which was I think like $180 a month. And then they negotiate with all of your credit card debt, and then you kind of just pay it down. But I was kind of dumb when it came to like saving and investing, and I just didn't do it right at the beginning. I didn't look into that till like late 20s actually. And then I go, oh, so if you're young and you get to have that type of money, just remember, it could dry up. Ben Gott, who works as a technology consultant in Atlanta, who's 33, said that being in the group of so-called Henrys was the position he wanted to be in. However, he says the not yet rich part was not something he expected would be delayed. For Gott, a big part of that delay is due to a six-figure student loan debt. He says, I don't want to make any sort of mistake, but there's still work to be done to get to those goals that I had built up in my mind of what would happen at that point. In New York City, 30-year-old Turner Cowles had a similar story. He works as an investor educator and makes more than $105,000 a year. But student loan debt eats up so much of his income that at times he feels like he's paying a second rent. He says, quote, if this is how I'm feeling now, oh my God, what is somebody who makes the poverty line feeling? You know what? I appreciate this guy because at least he's thinking about those that make like $20,000 and below, right? Where they're struggling to make ends meet, right? He says, what is somebody who's making 30, 40, or 50 grand a year living in Brooklyn? How do they feel? Which technically the on the East Coast, yeah, it's expensive there. The average student debt in the U.S. is nearly $40,000 per person. That's according to educationdata.org. Priya Malani is the founder of Stash Wealth, which is a financial planning firm that works with Henry's. She says they typically have double that amount in student loan debt. The average Henry comes to us with around $80,000 in student debt. They've accumulated additional degrees. They've been in school longer, and so they have greater debt. Courtney Nichols, who's 34, doesn't have high student loan debt, but with $300,000 combined salary, she and her husband make annually in Virginia. They feel like they must be careful with their money. I agree with that. That's smart. When you have like a family making, combined money, that's you got to focus on the kids. You got to focus on the family. You got to focus on the home. You got to focus on stuff like that, right? Although I know a lot of people that are like, don't tell me about your problems making that much money. But she says this, I own my own business. My husband has a high net worth on his own with his job. So when you look at all the tangibles on paper, it's like, oh, they've got a lot of money, she says. But, for instance, this is always those moments where you go, cry me a river, lady. For instance, 6 years ago, we were hit with a tax bill of almost $10,000. Some people barely clear that much a year. We had an emergency fund, but now it's like our whole emergency fund is gone, wiped out with one tax bill. So now we're starting over. It's like as soon as you take a few steps forward, you take a few steps back. They shared their stories with ABC News, and I'm sure some were like, what's your day job? I could save that amount of money. Because, some people that work on like with $20,000, $30,000 know how to like spend very little. And when they do have a lot of money, they put it away properly, right? So, I always say plan ahead and do things, but invest in yourself, invest in a business if you can, especially if it's virtual. Try to do that and be ahead of it, and then, start earning some pretty good money. So there you go. But I think what's the lesson here, Jesse? Whether you make a little bit or a lot of it.
Well, after listening to Dave Ramsey for about 2 years, some of the people that earn 6-figure salaries, they're like, oh, we're broke, we don't know what to do. Yeah, I know what you got to do. Stop eating out every night.
Yeah. Sure.
Learn to budget. You don't need to go on vacation every 4 months.
It's true.
And there's a whole slew of other things. I'm like, you don't need 6 cars. You don't need this. You don't need that. So it's just pretty much they got to learn to cut stuff off.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Because it's true. Sometimes perspective is a little off. Like, oh my God, we're financially broke. You got 3 cars. What are you talking about? You got gas for days. So, some people it's living within your means versus living beyond your means. It's easy to get when you always think the money's going to be there to start losing that moment. I love it when Dave Ramsey interviews like a husband and the husband's wife is like spending a lot of money without his knowing, right? Or vice versa. The man is blowing a lot of the money and the kids are like, we need food, but the other one's like spending it on, expensive shoes, $800 to $1,300 shoes with a whole collection, but the kids can't even eat, or buy clothes for themselves as they're growing. That kind of stupidity happens, and I say, don't be that person, especially if you're not even paying, down. Because I know exes that act like they're single, and they got like, kids, and then they don't pay the ladies, right? Even though the ladies are struggling. So don't be that kind of person. Let's see. Stephanie Reed in social media says, I don't have any debt and never had a credit or debit card. I'm a 90s kid who pays with cash or just don't buy it. Plus, graduate with an associate's degree in digital media from a community college and owner of a small media company brand. See, and that's the way you do it, Stephanie. That's exactly how you do it. And you will be rich for days and years to come. So good job. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Don't go spending all the money just yet. We'll be right back.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor. Go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, you know, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So, if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Your health truly is the greatest gift. At U-Theory, quality of life is at the heart of every product we make. From farm to shelf, we travel the world to source the purest, most efficacious, and clinically studied ingredients to create science-backed supplements that support beauty, emotional, digestive, and physical well-being. All U-Theory products are manufactured at our Southern California facility, ensuring the highest quality standards every step of the way. As a family-owned company, we celebrate the power of human potential with a mission to inspire wellness in all. Try U-Theory Immune Plus Daily Wellness, 100% daily values of vitamin C, D3, and zinc. Go beyond the you of today and catch the you of tomorrow. U-Theory.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate having each and every one of you with us. However you're celebrating it, celebrate it safely. Again, a lot of questions going into the weekend with such high spikes. And we did talk about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, saying, and I know I told my mom, be ready for a possible lockdown. Some are being ahead of that when it comes to restaurants closing on their own, not wanting, which I think is different, Jesse. I've never seen it to where restaurants on their own have closed ahead of time based on huge spikes. Have you?
No, I have not.
Usually they wait for a mandate, right? So the fact that they're doing that, I say, is at least proactive than reactive, right? But I do say this: try to get outside areas. Don't depend on indoor seating. That's the number one thing. I've seen some restaurants do really good converting their parking space into outside areas. And you could do so pretty well, right? And then you just put the lighting. I mean, it does take additional cost. I went to a restaurant in Long Beach, which did exactly that. It was a Mexican restaurant, really nice outside. It actually makes me want to go get a drink with friends right now. But we do so safely. And then they put down like the green tarp, right, which looks like grass, but it's not. And you could do so very, very nice in different ways and still get people, to do so safely. But you do have to be careful. Internet. A sweeping internet disruption took out a wide range of corporate websites, from FedEx, Delta Airlines to HSBC and McDonald's. The outages coincide with reports of system disruptions from Akamai and Oracle, who are the key providers of internet infrastructure services. It's unclear if the issues are related to the website disruptions. Oracle said Thursday that its outage was the result of Akamai's service disruption. Oracle said, "We are monitoring a global issue related to a partner Edge DNS that is impacting access to any or many internet resources, including Oracle Cloud properties. The DNS service helps route web browsers to the correct destinations and provide a security service." At approximately 12:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Akamai said, "We have implemented a fix for this issue. Based on current observations, the service is resuming normal operations. We'll continue to monitor to ensure the impact has been fully mitigated." Among the affected websites were Fidelity, the Securities and Exchange Commission's document search site, Airbnb, British Airways, and others. Most of the sites were back up and running within less than an hour of when the outage began. I always wonder, though, did you ever see Sneakers or anything where they, or The Net, remember, with Sandra Bullock, where they, it's these outages, that's how they get their viruses in on these computer programs. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, God, I thought that was the only person thinking about that. I was like,
nope.
Okay, they're going for the banks, but they get a bunch of other random stuff down too, so you're not distracted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're thinking right along the same lines as I am. So I'm like, okay, whenever I start seeing hacking, or it's usually a front and then they come in another way. So now I'm thinking, let's see what movies I'm going to watch on Netflix to show my mom that stuff is real. But yeah, we always enjoy some of the fun. Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, any other streaming service you recommend having?
Well, Netflix is always a good one. That's a basic one.
Okay, all right.
But there's other free ones like Pluto TV.
Yeah, I'm also watching that one, Pluto.
IMDb TV. There are free services out there if you know where to look.
All right. So there you go. And be careful out there. Where did a big glacier end up having problems, and now they're finding viruses in the glacier?
Yeah, that's in the Tibetan Chinese area. So
we didn't even get to that. I don't want to scare people.
Yeah, we did not even get to that. So hopefully, everything's okay over there. They just discovered some old viruses that existed that are still alive in a glacier. So hopefully nothing happens.
We need intervention of security protocols. People, stay safe out there. All right, we'll see you next week. Make it a great one. Stay safe and mask up. Can't hurt. Wash your hands.